If I say the words anti-inflammatory, swelling, muscle relaxants, knee braces, sore back, sore ego, and moving like a 300-year-old man, do you have any way of relating to that image? Kia ora, I'm Tuari Dawson, and you're listening to the Invisible Sensei podcast. So, firstly, let me just take this opportunity to wish you a happy new year. This is my first podcast for 2025, and so happy and proud to be continuing. And thanks for joining me this morning on the podcast. All right, you're not supposed to in podcasting, you're not supposed to give away the time of day that you're recording, but I just did. So I will try to continue on with my life without crying too much. So, let me share with you an interesting tale. A couple of things I want to say right off the bat, though, before we get into today's topic. I just want to thank the people who've reached out to me to talk about the closure of my dojo. And I think my last podcast was a little bit of a cliffhanger in the sense that I called it Requiem for a Dojo. And, a number of people have expressed, I guess, for want of a better term, condolences, and I don't mean that in any kind of, excuse me, disrespectful way. I mean that in that people were truly like just dropping me lines and letting me know, asking me how I was, and so on and so forth. And I have to say that it was very touching, and I'm really heartened by people reaching out. But I didn't view it as a tragedy. I view it as an opportunity to get a few things right that I've kind of been neglecting, especially around my health, and also to focus more on practicing, I guess, the length and breadth of what I've been trying to collate and practice these past 48 years now. Gosh, 48 years. Yes, 2025, 48 years. So I want to say thank you to all those who did, and I am deeply appreciative of your kind words. Now, with that being said, you've heard me talk about in the opening my wonderful adventures with all the things that people of a certain generation seem to be presented with. So, here we go. This is a reality bites kind of topic. So over Christmas, as is usually the case, we had many family visit. We had a lot of family come and stay with us up here on the Invisible Sensei farm. my wife would kill me for calling it that, but I shan't call it that again. But anyway, so from a week before Christmas till I guess maybe 4 or 5 days ago, we had people staying with us, and it was awesome. We had some fantastic people, family and friends stay. And, you guys will know Michael Hagen Sensei of the Way of the Fist podcast, Jonathan Sevian, and he have an incredible podcast. Listen to it if you get a chance. Came and stayed with his wonderful family, and it was really cool. And of course, my own family and extended family. So it was one of those times where, you were kind of playing host. So I trained, but extremely sparingly and kind of in between the gaps. So no, it wasn't consistent, and it wasn't the greatest training that I've ever done, but trained I did. Anyway, we get through Christmas, we get into coming up to the new year, and we've got people staying, having a great time, and of course you want to make sure that people, especially if they're coming from outside of the country, that they have a great time. And of course, I had a great time. I think they had a great time, but during that period of time, there was no training happening. And I apologise for that terrible Scottish accent. There was no training happening. And on top of that, I woke up one morning and had this strange pain in my foot that I've never had before. And it got worse and worse and worse. And come to find out that, yes, I've been introduced to the wonderful world of gout. So I've never had it before. No one in my family has, but it's over Christmas period, so I'm eating a lot of meat, a lot of turkey, which apparently activates gout. And as my doctor pointed out the other day, my genetics predispose me to gout, although, to be honest, I think it's a bit of bullshit. To be totally honest, this doctor was not, let's say, not the completely engaged medical professional that I hoped for, but hey, you're paying him, so give me some some pain relief and we'll move on. So anyway, so this morning, before I recorded this, I went up and had my first decent train in, I want to say, at least 2 weeks, probably closer to 3 weeks if I'm being honest. And with the gout came a whole lot of pain, and you have sympathetic pain in your other leg, and it was just nightmare really. I'm happy to say that I'm off the crutches now, and it was so painful. But what was even more painful was the way in which I kind of procrastinated about getting back into the dojo. I knew that first session back was going to be ugly. And one of the things I'm trying to do in 2025 is be a little kinder to myself. So maybe it wasn't ugly, it was just difficult. And it is true what they say, if you don't use it, you lose it. And I can feel, even in this short amount of time, that I've lost flexibility, and my technique's pretty shabby. Or at least it's not where I would like it to be. And so thus, I'm in the dojo this morning and just going through, I went through, let me think, when I did an interview with Shohei Sensei of Weight Judo. Do check it out, it was very good, one of my favourite interviews. He spoke to me about, if you listen to the podcast, he talks about the rule of three. As part of his training, he's very much into the numerology or the importance of certain numbers. And you see that in and throughout martial arts. Goju-ryu, Super-Impe, 108, the kata is literally 108. So, that's, I guess, an interesting avenue and a quarter or a conversation on its own. Anyway, so what I've tried to do is, for the last wee while, I've been focusing on 3 specific kata. Naihanchi, which is a new kata for me that I learned in Okinawa last year. Seisan and Sanshin. And on top of that, I also have 3 specific kobudo kata I do, and then I always try and finish with tencho. Tencho is probably my favourite kata. Anyway, so I'm up there practicing this morning, and it is literally like moving through wet cement. I'm kind of trying to be gentle on my limbs, on my body, because I've only been off the crutches for about 2 days. And what did I think of the session? Well, was it sort of a gangbuster session? Was it sort of highlight reel worthy? No, it wasn't. But what it represented was the ability to start. And it gives me time to think about issues in terms of my own health. What I'd like to do this year is focus on getting that weight down. I'm a big guy, I'm 6'3", just on the cusp of 6'4", and my weight has been an issue my entire life, so I'm taking measures to address that. And if you've spent time in Polynesia, or Polynesian people, we are by custom large eaters. So I'm looking at how I eat, and I think having gout and never wanting to have it again is a good reminder that karate is about taking care of one's health rather than destroying one's body. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be a little more conscious this year, and I'm looking forward to undertaking these challenges. which is exactly what they are. Now, if you've seen on the Invisible Sensei Facebook page, one of the things that I did in my in my fury at my foot and my body betraying me in that way is I put out a Facebook post, and I'm calling it the Grey Fox. And the Grey Fox is a reference to any martial artist over 40 years of age. And what I'd like to do aspirationally, I have not worked out the details, the wheres and the whens, but I'm looking at creating a seminar that is for 40 plus practitioners, 40-year-old plus practitioners, that beautiful generation of people who fit into that category. And what it basically is, when I've gone to seminars and things like that, and when I've taught them, there's always those super fit, CrossFit, super flexible, joints working, young people that are always just fantastic. And that, maybe 30 years ago, I even used to sort of class myself as being amongst. Not anymore. So, I am kind of creating something where rather than looking at what I can't do or what we can't do as advanced stage practitioners, yes, I said it, what we can do well, what we bring in terms of experience, knowledge, anecdotally through hard-won knowledge. I think there is a time in life, and I've certainly been struggling with it the last couple of years, where I've started to believe I don't have anything of worth to contribute to the conversation around seminars, around training. And you kind of start thinking, gosh, do I have anything do I have any relevance anymore in terms of being able to add to the conversation? And I think that it's quite easy, I know at least for me, to get down on myself and to imagine myself to be less than what I am. If you've trained with me, you know that one of the things that I struggle with is I hate, when I create video content, of course, I hate seeing myself in a gi because I look like a beach ball. And maybe I don't. Maybe some people say, oh, you look fine, but, for me, it is a position of vulnerability and something I need to take responsibility for and start doing some serious work on. So that is my commitment this year. The Grey Fox seminar is something which I would like to put out and ask people to come and be a part of. The idea being that we get an opportunity to really dig into what we do, why we do it, and share our different takes on karate, on kobudo, on martial arts, on life, where there is an emphasis on a good warm-up, a decent progressive warm-up, a good technique, and lots of opportunities to discuss, to talk, hang out, eat some food, drink some good coffee for those who drink coffee, and do some great training and make some new friends. I think for me, one thing that I have really appreciated about the last couple of years in travelling and teaching in different countries is the friendships that I've been lucky enough to make with different people across different cultures, and it's been fantastic, and that's kind of what I'm interested in as well. There's a great community of martial artists out there, and I think there's a kind of a thing that is going around the internet at the moment, or has been for a while. Find your tribe. And as someone who's part of actual tribes, I can attest to the importance of finding your place, your people, because they are the people who will help you get up in the morning, put your gear on, and go do it. We have relevance, we have something to share, and it's about having the courage to back ourselves. Martial arts begins and ends with courtesy, and humility is a large part of it. And, we all know people that embrace and embody humility, and we all know people who embrace and embody the exact opposite of humility, but call it humility. And I'm not going to bag anyone, but I'm saying that I think true humility is understanding what you can and you can't do, embracing what you can, improving where you can, and having some acceptance about where you're at. And that's what I'm interested in doing. Anyway, I have taken up too much of your time. I hope that your 2025 has started off well, that you're back in the dojo or the kun or the dojang or the gym, and that, like me, you're trying to find a deeper conversation with yourself that extends much further than the walls of a dojo or a gymnasium or the activity, that it extends into all areas of our lives. Martial arts to me now is, there's always going to be a combative element. I mean, that's just what it's about, right? But it's also about a spiritual, mental, refining process, and I hope that I'm able to do justice to that, and through seminars and this podcast and things like that, I'm able to make some small contribution. Anyway, enough yabba. Thanks so much for listening. I can hear in my voice and in my content that I'm kind of a little bit rusty on the podcasting, but I will get better, I promise. Got some good guests lined up for this year and some exciting new developments in the podcast. So thank you so much for listening. Take care wherever you are listening to this, and all the best for this wonderful new year, 2025. Mihi o te tauhou. Have a wonderful and safe week, and we'll talk to you next week. Take care.